All right, y'all. I'm really excited about this topic because it is personal to me. So, if you are a runner, if you're considering becoming a runner and doing a marathon or half marathon or 5K or 10K, I know with the fall coming up, it's a really great time to get into running. But one of the things that I cringe when I hear, oh, yeah, I'm a runner, I'm running. And I'm like, cool. Are you doing any cross training? And they're like, what's that? Are you doing any stretching? Well, yeah, some days. And I'm just like literal face palm because to give you a backstory, I used to have the mindset that when I was in undergrad and grad school, that running would keep me skinny. That was literally the reason I did it. I went to a few group fitness classes, but they didn't always align with my schedule. So I had the idea that if I just run enough miles, I do enough hills, I get enough time on the treadmill, that I won't gain weight. That was the mindset I had. I had no idea the education behind understanding what that looked like, because at the same time, especially in grad school for me in architecture, I was sitting in a chair looking at a screen just like this, not moving side to side, just sitting for 10, 12, 14, 16 hours a day. And then at the same time, I was lugging a laptop that was heavy with lots of model materials up and down stairs. So I was moving up and down a lot. And eventually, after running a lot on top of that, my hip decided to pop out. And that came from too much overuse of the same thing, not enough diversity in what I was doing, no cross training. I did stretch before and after, but I didn't know what I was doing. And to be honest, no offense, most of the people that I see and work with when they start out a running routine, or maybe they're getting back to it, or maybe they're incorporating it, they have really no idea what they're doing. I mean, the Couch to 5K apps are great, but they normally don't talk to you about cross training. They normally don't talk to you about active recovery. They normally don't talk to you about supplements and how to fuel your body to get the most out of what you're doing. Now, maybe you're an expert runner and you are like, I got it, Danielle. I am lifting. I have a schedule that's diverse, and that's totally cool. I'd love to hear any of your feedback. But specifically to those of you that are maybe just kind of newer, or you kind of think you know exactly what you're doing, but really you don't. You're like, oh crap, I have been running on the treadmill doing the same workout the same time, or I have been running the same route in the city or around me where I live. And so I need to tell you and just grab you through the screen and say, stop doing what you're doing, because you never want to feel the pain that I felt. I was told it was the worst pain of my life at 23 years old. I felt like an 80-year-old. I went down to touch my toes after a workout and I felt a pop in my hip. And I went to stand up, I couldn't stand. I went to move to the side, I couldn't stand. I literally started bawling, crying, because it felt like shooting knives in the side of my hip. And I had no idea what had happened. And what had happened is my hip got overused from zero lateral movement and zero cross training, and not understanding that there had to be a plan if you're going to be a runner. You can't just go run. There's actually workouts that you need to do to supplement to increase your endurance and to keep your body at its best to handle those longer runs, or to handle that sort of pressure on your body. So when you think about running, typically you're moving straight, right? You're running straight. Most of us aren't doing side shuffles or things you would do like in soccer practice. I used to do, the grapevine, that sort of stuff. There's a reason that the trainers make you do that, because your body needs to be able to shift and adapt and adjust and be able to handle the strength of that movement straight forward for a longer period of time. So my hip, and this happens to runners and dancers, there's two bands in your hip, and one of them decide to pop. So it's called popping hip syndrome, and it sounds just as bad as it feels. I was basically put on painkillers and told, well, in 3 to 4 days, hopefully it will pop back in and you'll start to feel back to normal. The problem with that is it was the week before my midterms in grad school, which architecture is very serious. I was also supposed to go to DC, to drive from South Carolina to DC for 8 hours for spring break. So sitting, standing, going to the bathroom, shaving my legs, like lying down, anything that I was trying to do really hurt. And not only that, but I couldn't sit at a chair to work on a computer and finish my midterms. Also, I lived on the third floor with no elevator and had to be carried up and down the steps to even leave, get groceries, couldn't drive myself to school, was obviously on painkillers, couldn't drive at all. Um, and so I'm really passionate about this because I've experienced the worst of the worst from it. And I want you to be able to enjoy running and do it frequently, but have the plan in place to know you need cross training, you need stretching, you need to have other incorporated workouts if you're going to do this for a long period of time. And I know we get excited of like, I ran a 5K or I ran a 10K, and that's great. But eventually your body's going to give out if you don't strengthen it from the inside out while also pursuing running. And I'm really passionate about this because literally the majority of people I work with that start running don't know this and don't do it. So hopefully this can help you. Okay. So some things when it comes to cross training, when I did PT to recover from this injury, I obviously was not running for a while. I could barely even walk. I had to reteach myself, honestly, how to walk for probably 2 to 3 weeks. It felt very awkward. But some of the stretches that I did was putting like a resistance band around my thighs or my ankles and sidestepping 20 to 30 steps each way for about 5 times. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a physical therapist. I'm just sharing my experience and what I have seen works well. So definitely adding that lateral movement in any way you can is really important. Specifically for me, I like to make it really super simple. And I have a lot of workouts on Beachbody On Demand that work perfectly aligned with running or doing some sort of other activity that a lot of people don't know about or realize. So the first one that comes to mind is Lift 4. It is meant to pair with other activities such as yoga, hiking, taking group fitness classes, running. So it's only 4 days a week, and the other 3 days you can incorporate your runs, or you can, flip it what works for you. But typically in my mind, if I was going to set out and like train for a run, I would be running every other day with definitely a rest day built in and an active recovery day built in. So for me, Lift 4 is so perfect to align having longer runs, but having the quick, short weight training that your body needs to build that strength in your connector joints, right? Like your hips, your knees, your back muscles, your core, they all need to be strengthened to be able to handle longer runs. So I think of Lift 4 as like my bread and butter. Other 2 workouts that I like to think about is Shift Shop and taking the strength days, and then on the cardio speed days, you would just do your runs. So there's 3 strength days a week. And again, you can alternate your runs every other day. And then also I'm doing Muscle Burns Fat right now. And to me, again, great, quick endurance building workout that's going to help you run longer. That's going to build up your cardio endurance. But having those weight training days are so, so important, but not like lifting super heavy or going for a long period of time. I really believe that you can do 30-minute workouts every other day and pair them with your runs really easily. And then the last thing I'm really excited about that is going to make this super simple for our challengers in the fall, and it's perfectly aligned to doing a run for Thanksgiving week, is 30-Day Breakaway. It's a brand new program specifically built around doing 20-minute bursts of strength training or cardio endurance training, and then pairing that with a run so that you're building up to do a 5K for Thanksgiving week. So it's going to be perfectly aligned to you building to that place. Now, maybe you're already a runner. This is a great way for you to learn how to cross train, how to stretch, and have that active recovery from a trainer that has run professionally and trained, for long distance. So I'm really excited to add that to our library. But right now, to me, Lift 4, Shift Shop, MBF, all great programs to help you have that cross training incorporated, because you can't go out and run 10 miles a day every day. Your body's going to say no after a while, even 5 miles. You need to have that diversity and that mix. And honestly, for me, I'm not a professional, so I don't know always what to do. And having that simple plan is so easy. So last thing I will tell you is, hands down, I literally I got to bow down to the performance line. If you don't have Glow Juice or Recover and you are running, you need to add it to your regimen, because it's a game changer. And having those all natural supplements to help you run faster, to help you run longer, to help you increase your stamina and endurance, and they're clinically proven to do so. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. I have seen tremendous athleticism built in my workout routine, adding them 3 years ago when when I was in the Shift Shop test group. So hopefully that is helpful for y'all. I'd love to answer any other questions when it comes to running, but just in general, speak to a professional. I think that's the beauty of why I've loved Beachbody for so long. It takes the guesswork out. It allows me to fit into my life and, yes, to do other things that I'm passionate about. It's not always just do the program to a T. You can have your other passions of running, of classes and that sort of thing, but still follow a program that's going to get you results, that's going to keep you healthy and happy and keep you at your tip top shape so you don't have any injuries. Because it always pains me to hear about injuries. And the last tip I'll say is just like a fun bonus. Get a mirror when you work out in front of it. When you're lifting weights, it is so easy to get out of form. This is the group fitness instructor in me coming out, because I used to teach body pump, but having that mirror in front of you is so helpful and allows you to really check your form and not look up at the screen when you're trying to figure out what to do. You can be checking yourself. So if you have any other questions about running or how to cross train or how to diversify, I would love to help you come up with a plan that works for you. And I look forward to crushing this new running program with y'all come the fall when it's beautiful out. All right, y'all, talk to you later.